and welcome to WrestleCulture. Looking back on all elite, heading to Wembley and Mary Ann Street. That's the road where the Utility Arena is located in Cardiff. Tony, you're so great. I want to be your mate. Wrestling's coming home again. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WrestleCulture, joined by the other Dudley boys at WrestleCulture, Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick.
There's nobody else in.
All that goes on in wrestling.
Here.
We're pressing the buttons, we're doing WrestleCulture. Before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WrestleCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2. But we're going to do Dynamite, AW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete. The quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick for WrestleCulture. This is very different. Live on YouTube.
I love this because we just never get together to talk about wrestling in the week. It's so nice to find this opportunity to finally all come together.
It's true. And I'll say what we always say whenever we're left in charge of the technology. Let us know in the chat if any of this is working or not. Can you hear us? Can you see us? Good luck.
Because we're stuck if you can't. So,
but I'm not sure if you noticed in the intro song there, that was an allusion to AEW bringing Dynamite to the UK, Mary Ann Street. That's where the Utility is in Cardiff.
Jesus Christ,
mate. First of all, I've sort of discussed this a little bit with you, but your reaction to AEW coming to the UK, not just for All In.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like, on a pure pragmatic level, what you've done last year is you've not done the loop beforehand because you want to ensure that you get that absolutely massive gate, which they secured, which they got, and you need to keep it completely and utterly, like, you want your first image of AEW in the UK to be the biggest wrestling show ever, and they goddamn did it. It's different now. The novelty's not there. The ticket sales for this next All In aren't there, so why not, when you're in the market, squeeze the juice from the fruit?
It's a good thing, I think, to reveal that Tony Khan has gotten over that, like, one show once a year thing that we know he likes his traditions and his all sort of stuff. My worry was that every year he'd kind of continue to chase that. The Wembley number, like, naturally, even if the product's hot, by the way, naturally would diminish. And what you're left with is this one event that doesn't really satisfy what people want out of a touring product anymore. Like, it goes beyond TNA making such a great fist of it in the UK when they were cold in America and hot over here. It goes beyond these incredible crowds that WWE...
They were never hot in America.
Yeah, well, yeah. It goes beyond, like, these incredible crowds that WWE are getting outside of America. This is AEW getting to sort of set its own rules, and I'd much rather now they be this, that it's TV, that it's the proper experience, that house shows will probably cut on, not house shows in the traditional sense, but some sort of live touring product in other cities in the UK is where realistically they needed to get to, and I'm glad he's not hanging around doing that.
Yeah, they can't do Wembley every year. It feels like them doing TV in an arena is almost like a soft launch for the new normal, the new reality that AEW must confront in the UK at some point, so it'll feel less like a... like they're conceding something if they do an arena before the stadium, and then, oh, well, if you're used to it in an arena, it's going to look like that. I'll tell you what, I reckon it'll sell out.
Oh, 100%.
I reckon it'll sell out in Cardiff. If not, it'll do like a more than good enough number so it looks all but sold out and just big and massive on TV. Like Dynamite in the UK, that's different. Collision being hot as balls potentially in front of like 10 to 15,000 fans will be positively surreal.
And we can't really talk AEW. Me and Sidgwick just got done doing the Your Questions Answered podcast, which should be available right now on the podcast stream. But one of the questions I avoided asking you in there was the one that is on everyone's lips today, and that is, will Shane McMahon become All Elite?
I sure hope so. Yeah. I sure hope so. I actually wrote an article after the CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole hat trick didn't really move the needle after a few months, and they settled into the viewership, which has kind of been gradually decreasing ever since, saying that there is one way that they can move the needle, where they can bring in one short-term boost big enough where the wrestling world will just, I need to see this, right? And if you did a good enough show on the strength of that one night number, maybe it'd grow your audience a little bit. And it was Shane McMahon. and I think it was titled "Why Tony Khan Must Use the Nuclear Option." The nuclear option was the phrase I used, because it's not just the
Big red button and it's a sweating Shane head.
Yes, it's not just the surreal, incredibly surreal aspect of a McMahon appearing on AEW programming, right? And I think it's an arsehole of a bloke. So I'm not like, and I think artistically he's woeful, one of my least favorite wrestlers ever. It's just I need to see it just once. I'd love to look at it, and I think everyone else would, perversely want to see this. And I'll get into what he could do. It was a bit of a bit imminently before I do one more bit of earnest analysis, and that is WrestleMania 32. There is a curse, a hex of injuries. Cena doesn't work the show in any meaningful capacity. Seth Rollins was really hot in 2015. He can't make it. Orton didn't make it either.
Nope.
It was like a lot of those were the three big time men's guys at the time. And as we know, that was the first night they really treated women's wrestling properly seriously on the main roster. So
Ryan retired. February, whatever it was.
They didn't have a women's roster of which to speak because they'd only just started. That was the night they rechristened it, the women's titles from the Divas. And they thought, right, who are we going to get here? Because we've already used, Brock's already back. Obviously, Goldberg wasn't quite ready. That would happen later in the year. Taker had already been a 1 year attraction, and he was on the wane. Well, it's time for Shane. Shane McMahon. That WrestleMania 32 was trending towards like, oh dear. It's looking like a bit of a disaster. He shifted per the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and if nothing else, Dave can do the business side of things in an obituary. Right? Tens of thousands of tickets sold by Shane McMahon.
He outdrew All In, the original.
Tens of thousands of tickets.
Shane Cody Rhodes. I'll take that bet, Dave.
I'll take that bet, Dave.
30,000 tickets.
It would do a number.
Yeah.
It would be quite incredible. I think he's an arsehole as a person. Artistically, I loathe his work. AEW's tried and for the last few years, in my opinion, failed to really energize its base with this whole AEW's the babyface. Get behind it. Dax Harwood, can you cut a rah-rah promo? There's a bear shit in those woods. Shane McMahon is the one person where it's like, if someone defends the honor of AEW against an interloping Shane McMahon, the only plausible role he could play is Jerry Lawler in ECW.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon being Jerry Lawler in ECW and AEW would be great. Great. He knows how to play a heel. And even if he can't perform as well as he did in 1999, he's still a loathsome guy who embodies the worst of pro wrestling to a lot of people.
You'll like this, Sidge. I drew an incredible line that links these two seemingly disparate worlds together on the news this morning. Remember in the 90s when, bit of wrestling trivia that I believe you'll know. Do you know where the name Diesel came from when Vince McMahon looked upon Kevin Nash? Wilbourn, do you know?
No.
Diesel was the hip word for hip in Shane McMahon's world. So basically, if, you're not a cool guy, you're not a cool guy. Adam Nicholas is Diesel.
He's Diesel.
Okay.
Adam Nicholas, he's really cool. Oh, man, he's totally Diesel.
Totally Diesel. And this would be
a different gravy, but in a different connotation.
Yeah,
just cool.
Yeah.
A different Diesel, right? Shane would say it to his mate, Johnny Polo, right, who, when they were out partying, and Vince McMahon did not like that one bit, and then Johnny Polo goes to ECW, rements himself as Raven, they keep in touch. Shane McMahon, noted ECW fan, earnestly excited when WWE brought it back, wanted to help try and, keep this new, weird, in his mind, online version of it similar to the old version, take it one night stand and just, polish it up or whatever. So I had this, real affection for old ECW. Sidge, it occurred to me that while nobody in that big old hall,
Oh my God!
imagine young billionaire son Shane McMahon and young billionaire son Tony Khan in the same building at the arena, quietly trying to tuck themselves into that ECW crowd. Yeah. In the corner of Swanson and Ritzer, there were two billionaires that wanted to change the business with me and Raven. They could have been there. And imagine that. Imagine just, did you ever go to the arena? Did you? Which one? Oh, this. I was there.
I was there.
Then,
You
just telling stories. Like, Bully Ray straight out to Busted Open. I saw them guys and I didn't want to bring it up.
I didn't want to bring it up.
I didn't want to spoil the surprise. Me and Devon said, hey, is that Shad and Vince's boys?
Hey. AEW. ECW. 3 initials, E in both of them. What does that say? It really makes you think.
E in both of them, but not in Live Forever if you take the E off. Live. Think about it. Related to this, Steve Nikolakopoulos, Edward Strauss-Hans, as always, thank you for joining us, and thank you for your very kind donation on the YouTube live chat. Says, g'day, handsome gents. With Shane O'Mac coming to AEW, we assume, who would you rather cut a promo on
he's
him?
not, but it's funny and to assume that he is.
Who would you rather cut a promo on him, MJF or Christian Cage? P.S. Went and watched Joe Hendry's What Culture Gaming vids. Good stuff. Yeah, he's brilliant, Joe.
Incredible question.
Yeah. Well,
I mean...
Christian said in an interview, might have been with Chris Van Vliet, he said that it's, could be working. I'm not asking these wrestlers permission. I want the reaction. Like, he's doing the dad line, and maybe they can assume, oh God, I'm programming a promo with Christian. I think I know where he might go.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going off the cuff. It's
That's
AEW,
great.
you're allowed that way. That's goated. Some of the stuff he's come out with. Would this be the one where he'd want to double check? I think maybe, because we've had a
Shane
good
gonna do?
Well, we've had a good laugh at this fight, but
I've seen him punch people. You know what I mean? And Christian Cage, according to, of all people, Paul White, the Big Show, has got the most irritatingly stiff ease-up punches.
Really?
I cannot remember the name of the game, but I bet you Christian's been one of the people that's, this whole thing that Jim Ross said about reaching out. Christian and Edge will definitely be two of the ones. Shane had like a game that he used to play with them where you'd see them backstage and they jump on the back or something. I remember Edge and Christian talked about it in a podcast whenever they'd see Shane again. It was like, oh, the game's still on. Like jock stuff where, like, oh, if you see the circle, I'm going to punch your arm. And then they'd escape to another side of the building.
Will one have a look down here?
Oh! Hanged it. Come on, I can take it.
Yeah, Christian will be one.
I got hit by a go-kart the other day. I'm really still suffering.
You play Mario Kart? What's going
No,
on?
I went go-karting for a steak and just got sideswiped into the barriers.
What a bitch.
Still completed it, won the course, broke the record.
Yeah, well, that's the first time I went around, they said, no professionals. I said, I'm not a professional. I make a lot of money on YouTube. Thanks.
Keep bombing it around.
You know what I would do to answer the question? I would legitimately have both Christian Cage and MJF. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm saying to both of them, those are the two correct names. I'd say, look, shut up about it, asshole. But we're doing this, right? I don't know who out of you I want to interact with them, okay? Probably MJF because, of the whole MJF's the face, Shane has to be the heel, whatever. But I'm not ruling you out, Christian Cage. What I want you to do, you've got a month. Each give me your best promo. Like, work on it. And bear in mind, this is going to be huge. It's going to be great. Yep. And it's going to be huge for us. Give them both a month. Hit me with your best pop.
Nice.
Very nice. I like that a lot.
Because while we're fantasy booking, like, here comes the money, whatever, opens the show, Shane walks the ring, you simply cannot believe what you're looking at. Mike goes to mouth before he can even speak. One of those introductory themes interrupts him. And then it's, what was Shane going to say? I don't even know, but here's this guy out to kill him. And then
would do a monster rating, probably wouldn't
We'll
it?
do an incredible number.
And if it happened,
It's the last number. Who else is there?
We're 5 years into
other than Levesque?
Yeah.
Or The Rock or Cena.
We're 5 years into Dynamite. Like, we were only 6 in Nitro when Shane rocked up there. It would be the same amount of time, pretty much, that we went with this other product. And then it's like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
Just it doesn't. Well, it does and doesn't bear thinking about.
It's never been more realistic. Weird as that
Yeah.
statement is, considering the rest of the McMahon family right now. It's never been more realistic than now. Or potentially beneficial, oddly. As the shortest of short-term, weird, curio things.
Book's bringing him out. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, our new best friend.
I like that. Like, when we were having a bit of crack in the WhatsApps, the prospect of a right now thing and him being like the Elite's 5th man in blood and guts. That was funny. It's funny to think about.
He's going to be the 5th man.
You've got a daredevil who's not afraid to put his body on the line in Darby Allin. I think we've got a counter-actor for that.
Shane McMahon driving a bus.
Off the roof. Whee! Eric Vasquez, great first name. Thank you for your
What a guy.
question, Eric.
We're all great guys.
Happy Friday, dudes. With NXT TNA cross promoting, AW's upcoming PAPE for Forbidden Door, which is, of course, in, if my maths are correct,
90s!
the 6, why it's 6 with the number 6, debuting, Stax's office entrance, and all of that. Is this the best Door season ever?
I can't think of a better time for doors in pro wrestling history, quite honestly.
Join us for WrestleCulture next week for maybe a quiz you've heard of before.
Huh? What a teaser, by the way. What a hook you've just dropped.
Drop a little taster for them. Put some chum in the water for them. That's what you get for now.
You lucky people.
Lucky people.
It's and it's not stopping here. Just before we came in to record, there's the latest murmurings of WWE and AAA picking up where they left off in 1997. What? Go on, Sidge.
Imagine just Conan and Levesque having a conversation.
It's just wild, isn't it? Like, and this is still, what was it this morning?
Like one of the worst bookers of all time. And Conan.
There it is. Them kind of like just opening the floodgates in Scotland. 50 guys from Scotland were allowed to go to the Hydro. Didn't even have to buy
the Greps.
The Greps. Didn't even
Not
have to buy their own
because they
tickets.
say betch. Instead of bitch, the Greps.
Oh, we don't even call it race. It's a square go. Did you get it? Like this.
I don't get it. What?
It's like that's what they call a fight, innit? Like the ICW square go for something. Like their global localization has not stopped. Triple H has never given up on this flawed idea of like that map he put up.
Yeah.
It's still a thing. Like they're still chasing it. Like AEW's relationship with New Japan is realistically the least enticing it's been as a way to sell a pay-per-view, but that's as much down to New Japan as anything else. Right now. Like there's loads of it going on. There's not that much that I think people are clamoring for fantasy booking wise, oddly, than NXT and TNA. That's where people's interest seems. And I'm surprised.
I know. You look at the ratings.
Yeah, like that's
so Hendry breaks the internet again.
That's where the fantasy booking is. Like there is in that one of all the different inter-promotional ones. It's there.
I suppose you've sort of answered one. Mr. Phoenix has sent us loads of questions, so I'm going to try and group them all together here because he said who else goes in Triple H's infinitely gauntlet of alliances: Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA, Noah, Marigold, AJPW, Bloodsport, etc. Triple H, you just answered that. Mr. Phoenix also says, as always, boys, cheers from the forklift. Thanks for all that you do. Catch all my post-clash and NXT TNA coverage where you've been pod. Feel free to promote yourself on there. Also, what does a wanky frog say? Rub it. And
Not bad.
Wild theory, what if instead of Roman Rock or Solo Sikoa, the new chief of the bloodline, to be is a heel Cody Rhodes, not just content to take Roman's belt, but his army as well after WrestleMania?
That sounds like the most 1999-assed A-Fed booking idea that I've read since 1999.
It's the ramblings of a madman. And that madman is from New York, bro.
And what is a random match you guys would love to see right now? I'd love to see Cody defend against a proper black and gold heel era Ciampa, but Punk Mello would be class too.
Punk Mello. 3-star Ospreay versus a guy who couldn't work a 5-star Ospreay match with the level of athleticism required. I think that would be bad.
It's an out there one.
I think Punk versus Mello would be actively bad. Actively bad.
What's a random match you'd love to see now, though?
Just because we're talking about him for another video coming soon, Javon Evans and Bron Breakker feels a long way away because of Bron's call-up, but just it's that one spot. I've thought about it in a Royal Rumble. It's like just that one spot where can they spare him out the air all the way out the ring? Can it be done? And maybe is the answer. Like Bron's been running the ropes enough by then, eliminated enough guys to make space. Maybe we'll just have to like a video game glitch.
Yes,
or something like that. And Jeff Jarrett versus the wild card has thrown up all these different like realistic combinations. All of them good because I saw people didn't understand why he was in there, and then it was explained. And I think we said this in the original Owen. That'd be a nice thing. Put Jeff Jarrett in. So we finally got there. I like the Hangman Page one. I think that's the play. But all of them are good because like Jeff Jarrett's good. So the matches, because I like him, like they're all random, but they're all interesting. So I quite like him versus a wild card. We're going to get one, I think.
Kenny Omega versus the Beast Mortos.
Oh
my God.
Beast Mortos versus anyone for me, but yeah, Kenny Omega's quite
Kenny
good.
Omega versus anyone for me.
Yeah.
I wanted Beast Mortos and MJF. I was thinking about this. I was like, is that on the table at all? I want to look at it.
He said this when we were walking for a coffee the other day, and I went, "Would that mean MJF would have to lose?" So
Yeah.
and
Early for that.
Finally, Mr. Phoenix, first of all, suggests an improvement on my NXT Heat Wave by saying, "Oh, bloody hot, eh?" Well, next week there's going to be a new addition to the NXT Heat Wave vernacular. That's all I'll say for now. I've been working on some stuff. But Mr. Phoenix also says, "Excuse my Canadianness, but is Mr. Blobby a real thing?"
I thought Canadians were meant to be polite, incidentally. Yeah, Mr. Blobby is very real. Mr. Blobby is very real.
A cultural phenomenon in the 90s who was like a figure of hatred then, but I think time has been very kind to the Mr. Blobby act, and his is a type of chaos that actually feels genuine in a very, he exists in like a shiny floor TV world, very, very light entertainment, like nice sort of chairs and tables and big studio setup, and like the guy in the Blobby suit was given free rein to like knock over thousands of pounds worth of kit, and you watch it back now and it is pretty funny. I'm a Blobby fan more now than I was as a kid.
He's an absolute goat.
I would
Comedy didn't get any better than that.
What about Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey or Mr. Blobby?
Probably Carey, because he's got a bit more of the range. He's got the verbal dexterity, but Blobby's right up there for me. Like
Liar,
Mount Rushmore, Carey, Blobby. I had to think about my other.
Hang on, who's on your Rushmore of comedians?
Carey, Blobby, probably Seinfeld, and I don't know actually. I need to think about this.
yourself
Me
and Stacks.
Stacks is really funny.
Stacks has got some good jokes. He's got some good material. Liar, liar, but with like him in it, so it's blobby, blobby.
Worst thing about that is that you were setting it up 2 minutes ago.
I know, but it was.
throughout that entire time, you thought,
out.
"No, this is good. I have to say it."
I've been thinking about that cream cracker thing still.
Oh God, we need to do this. We need to do a world record. We should have done it on here.
It's not a world record because that's not getting.
Oh, yeah.
That's not getting done. That's like 15 seconds. The guy's a psychopath. 3 cream crackers, no water. How? Like, can it be done in a minute?
What's a cream cracker?
You know, like
a Jacob's.
Jacob's
Get the cheese
cream
on
cracker.
Christmas.
I like the
Square.
ones.
The square ones.
Yeah.
3 of them, no water, 1 minute. Do you reckon you could do it?
Yeah. I did too.
I need some training.
Tried it at home, did it in a minute and 1 second.
I just imagine his wife walking in.
Screenshot of the clock.
He did. He sent it to me because I said, "Oh, we should do that."
I gave it a go. So I
I
think
think I've got some in the cupboard actually.
I can give it a go tonight. Screenshot the clock. Just like the minute challenge.
Screenshot the clock and remember, din din for the Dudleys. Don't forget to stand by your back door and hit your
Friday
bin.
night, of course.
Friday night.
Inanimate object.
To say thank you for all the hard work that we do.
Lots of podcasters.
You know,
Video it. Put it online.
Don't call us heroes.
No.
If you don't, well, you don't have to.
Shout it from your front door with your inanimate object. And put it on the internet.
Shut up.
Dudley Boys din din. Moving on, we've got Matt Rains in the chat.
That guy.
Hey!
Love that guy.
It is 10:35 a.m. where Matt is, and it's 33 degrees, and that's like proper degrees, not like American weird degrees. He says, "This sun hat is kicking my ass." Happy Friday to my 3 faves. Sidge, looking like Germany and Spain are the 2 best teams in the Euros. Thoughts? Have a great weekend, brothers. Legends lands in about 2 hours. Stay tuned, and a basketball emoji for you.
That was almost a sentence. Yeah, Spain. The thing about Spain, this is how I analyze wrestling. I always think of the worst. It was Spain. Is like I know Morata's got a good scoring record for Spain, and it betrays how much he flattered to deceive at club level. I still wouldn't have Morata as he is your goal outlet. He's going to get you the goals in that clutch player position. So I worry about that. I don't worry. That's a football cliche. I don't give that much of a toss. I have reservations over his ability to really be the one to get those goals when you need to get the goals. Because it's all about goals.
Who's produced the best cane, England or Spain?
England. Germany are a worry. Even if England, who are rubbish, Declan Rice's Scott Parker looking ass is really winding me up. And he's been one of the less offensive ones. We look terrified on the ball. Just no bravery.
Toothless in attack,
no bravery. We look like we have just got big weight of mental pressure there, and it's manifesting in our sloppy passing, our inability to be brave and bold on the ball, like the fluidity of the patterns. But even if England were good, I'm looking at that Musiala and that Wirtz and thinking, Jesus Christ, Havertz is really handy as well. Just his movement, he can always pop up with a goal. We got Kroos in there. Defensively, England are better. Like Germany have already. Like, if you're up against better opposition, you could probably carve them open. I think it's open. I think the England squad of 2 or 4 years ago walks this tournament.
Yeah, I agree.
I think what's happened is Southgate has reacted to the public pressure much too late, and now he's made the correct calls, but not early enough for this team to gel.
This last night, I was watching it because I completely agreed with his omission, by the way. But I was watching that game going,
It needs Grealish.
Grealish coming on, he just run it, lads. And that's what everyone seems to be scared to do at the moment. It was a
Germany
real
are winning this thing, by the way.
real difference. Yeah, they're the Turniermannschaft is their like tournament team, i.e. get through the group however you need to, and then go on from there.
Gundogan.
Yeah,
God, Germany are winning this.
I was plotting our yesterday prior to the game when I was feeling a lot more confident. I was like, so we win today. We win the group. Great last minute Serbia goal, by the way, yesterday. We win today. We win the group. And then we think we face the third place team in one of 2 other groups, and it was like, we probably, not to be too arrogant, but we probably win that. Then I think quarters, we'd probably, if you go by like rankings, people were saying like Italy. And I was like, I watched them against Spain. Forget about the England performance.
They've got the other thing, Skamaka.
Yeah.
You'd Kane over Skamaka every day.
So we get past them, then it's France. I think France are probably going to win the whole thing again because it's France.
Didn't look that good.
It depends what happens with Mbappe, and then if we won our group,
He's a Euros choke artist.
The other side of the bracket would have Germany and Spain and Netherlands, I think, in it. But it's up for grabs for anyone now. I don't think there's any team that's
Well, not for us.
yeah, well, not us. Yeah,
Suck, bro.
Johan Benson.
Nervous Nellies.
Johan.
Little nervous guys. I really resent them.
Yeah. Johan Benson. Ironic this because they struggle to perform in a live environment. But Johan says, "Hi gents, travelling to the UK for All In, my first ever wrestling show.
Whoa.
Was really hoping for a What Culture live show.
We are 2. Leave it that for now.
We are.
We're trying.
Yes, we're.
London's
If you'd
trickier
asked
than
this
it
question
should
a week ago, you'd have been met with fairly glum faces, Johan. But as with wrestling, never say never, and we may.
be. Well, we've got Shane McMahon, so I can't say.
Oh God. Also, I want to give a shout out to James Rice, who sent me an email last night. James sent me a great clip. You remember
No relation to Declan, I hope. Scott Parker for 100 million quid.
He's not a relation to Declan because he makes great choices.
Yes, James has emailed me. First of all, with the clip. Do you remember what is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? He's met up with one of the cops that arrested him at that restaurant 30 years later. Huge pap for that. Thank you, James.
Amazing.
And also, James says, I've booked the beautiful Oyo Hotel and Casino for a week in mid-April of next year. Michael Hamflett can tell them the viral marketing campaign is working.
And I have. Keep in touch, Elio.
That's ridiculous.
Great. It's a nice hotel. Excellent location, by the way. Genuinely. If you're travelling to WrestleMania next year, spot on.
He's spot on.
But yes, Johan, we are working on the live show. And speaking of the live show, someone who was at our Philly live show was OG Stem Cell.
Oh, yeah.
Who's also in the chat, who says, Swerve is for the children. My son always wants to listen to his entrance song and Real Eyes by him in the car. Will doesn't need that belt yet.
I don't think he does. I'm really taking to Swerve Strickland after having misgivings about his glorified upper mid-carder status. I think he's kind of smashed that now. Funny you should mention that your child likes Swerve's theme. I deep amidst Swerve fever. Probably like the Texas Death and all the rest of it. And I would like... Me and Hamflett have got this thing where we're nerds, and if we get really into a wrestler, we just play their themes quite a bit. So I was playing Swerves quite a bit, and it kind of scared my children.
Really?
Yeah, didn't like it. I was like,
And
do that?
At that time, Texas Death era, like if you'd have paired it with the character Swerve was playing, it'd be sort of perfect, wouldn't it? It's like, yeah, you're right to be terrified. He's a bad man.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
He's a bad guy.
come into your night.
How's
in your room at night, Seven Strickland.
He did do that.
Yeah.
How is it Charlotte who's loving your winner? Ding ding ding.
Oh no,
It's still over.
it was a morning, mate. It was just a,
That's just a brief.
It was a morning of, she enjoys that for a bit, and that's good because if you're in a jubilant mood in the morning, it makes the process, we'll call it.
Just if she's making noise with an inanimate object, just say, she's doing Dadley Din. From all the kids doing
Yeah,
it.
Dadley. All the kids love Dadley Din.
Pays the
I
mortgage.
don't know what it is, and I don't care to find that.
Just going to explain it. And I was like,
I don't want to know.
Ooh. Sorry, I just see Matt Rains saying Ukraine have beaten Slovakia 2-1. What a comeback.
I had the reverse result in my predictions.
I think I've got any Ukraine or Slovakian players in my fantasy team. Trying to remember.
well, I've got Germany in a work sweepstake.
Well, how much will she win?
I think it's like 50 quid and like 20,
We do what?
20 for second or something.
Oh, you get 5 months of the
Like 10 teams
WWE
each or
network for that.
Well, I was thinking wait until it gets to a later on in this stage of the tournament and then just
like as the last-
yeah, like the last 8 or
alright.
something.
Probably 500 packets of crisps for the crap that you get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she'll not say
Get me some more crackers, please, love. Yeah, I'm trying to break the record. Jan Benson's also back in the chat saying, a serious question for WrestleCulture. Who is a more inept manager, Ava, she's going to say, and then Shrock's daughter and general manager of NXT, or Gareth Southgate?
Well, it's a results-based industry, so right now, Gareth Southgate.
Well, I'm not being funny, Ava. I'm not saying that she is, deserving of the credit for the NXT rating spike, but, it's, you put her on telly and it goes up and up and up. Gareth Southgate is far more inept. Gareth Southgate.
Hell of a run, though. It feels like the end of a good booking run.
I
don't like the disrespect towards him because
This is the final tournament. This is the final straw.
It's been
for
nice
me.
watching England.
He's doing that thing where it's like, all managers do it where it's like, it's a good idea, but I can't sell it. It has to be mine. I have to make sure it feels like it's my idea. And he's doing this thing, like, just persisting with, it's one thing to say, right, Phil Ford, I know this is a wrestling podcast, but I'm English, I'm in at the tea, I want to have a little rant. It's one thing on the back of one poor performance to drop, right, the Premier League Player of the Year because he didn't have the best game. That would be too reactionary. It sends a bad message to the squad, like you can't be trusted, like you don't have their belief.
Yeah.
You need to think that your manager believes in you. So understand that you can't do a reactionary decision.
They've got like a media blackout as well, haven't they? So the player would be thinking of it's the manager.
Yeah.
It's not something else. It's I've directly impacted the manager.
But at the same time, it's like you cannot go 1-0 up. Just go, right, we can sit back now. Just like you need to terrify not just the opposition. You want Germany, France, Spain to be like, oh God, England are a problem. England are a problem.
The old football
Did
cliche.
Germany give up after the first goal against Scotland? England did, first try.
Like the old cliche, but genuinely, I'm kind of subscribing to it. Attack is the best form of defense. If we're trying to put the ball in your net, chances are it won't go in ours, rather than just going, we'll just soak up pressure. And then, mad times it was on the... I nearly made Eric cry about 5 times because I kept yelling, close down the ball! Like, especially after they scored. It was a great goal, the Denmark hit from outside the area. But I was like, you're playing 2 defensive midfielders. Trent's a ghost, by the way. And Declan Rice, I don't know what's happened to him and Phil Foden. But I was like, how are we playing 5 in midfield effectively? And they've still got all the time in the world on the edge of the area. I was astonished.
Isn't there some thing about not being able to win back-to-back group games ever?
You never won the first 2 in a group.
And like performed well in the last few tournaments. So it's careful. You've got to be careful not to
It's a
be
bit
reactionary, is what I'm
copium,
saying, yeah.
but Argentina got beat off Saudi Arabia in the World Cup.
Good point.
And then they went to win it.
Yeah. Got to the...
It's copium, but it's not without precedent.
Yeah.
Matt Rain says more Friends references for England.
No.
I'll do my best. The well was running dry by the end of one game, to be honest.
Just Daryl says, Sid, you've described the brainwashing of the Fed similar to that as QAnon.
Hate that.
Correct? No, it's correct.
Fedanon, says Daryl. Happy Friday, Dadley's. More Tommy Dreamer on
You don't
the
need to be
pods,
fed
please.
on because you can always be proud of watching the product.
No, it's madness what they can do. They brainwash people into thinking it's the only way that bigger's better.
Yeah, they
Socialist Michael Hamflett, what do you think about this capitalistic approach employed by the World Wrestling Federation?
basically my lifetime hobby is my toxic trait. It's pretty much the size of it. It's like I try really hard.
I like Ferdinand, I do like
In
Ferdinand.
every single other respect, and it's like, all right, WWE, you can stay. Everything else, as bad as it gets.
Buy
Shout
local produce or just processed stuff from conglomerates? Processed beige.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
From International Evil Food Corp.
I use several local outlets for all my beige produce. It's in the same packaging as the one at the big Asda.
So the white company, the
Yeah.
beige company, that's where I shop.
Beige goods.
Shout out to Business Company Network. Thank you once again for your donation. Who says, Dadley's great to catch you live. AW will be in Dallas next month for a long visit. How can we convince our wives to join us for every show? Also, any cool English wrestling chants that we should try to get started?
Right.
Shoes off.
No.
Oh, okay.
Let me stop you right there. There are no cool English wrestling chants. And I know this because I've endured one too many British wrestling shows.
Those Brits with their soccer chants. Not really.
Like there's oh, you watching Vince McMahon?
Worst ever. Worst ever.
Shoes off. Why? It's bad enough that I can smell your ass in a wrestling show. And I'm taking the piss. It's a cliche. I don't think I've ever had a stinker next to us at a wrestling show.
Same, actually. I know.
Yeah.
I know the cliche, but no. You'd remember it, wouldn't you?
I don't smell ass, but I want to smell your feet. I know, like you've been walking around all day in your little lines for WWE shop or whatever.
Pretty big lines.
I just don't get your shoes off at any point in a wrestling show.
What were the ones at Glasgow last week? Cody Rhodes. You can apply that. Like that and Seven Nation Army broke big in the Brit
We're
Wrestling.
not paying no attention. We're trying to get ourselves over.
I like the, we've got to mention
It's fine. You can chant.
decibel counter. Do you remember that? I forgot what it was called.
Live and loud.
I was going to say the parbometer. Yeah, it was live.
The live and loud. Yeah.
Good gimmick, that.
React earnestly in accordance with the rhythms of the match.
Yeah. I can't wait for this.
But
run.
no, have fun.
I'm quite jealous.
Is this the esports center arena? I want to know. Can you give us a live account?
Pictures, the whole deal. Like
Yeah,
I'm
please
really
do.
excited. I'd have loved to have attended one of these for what feels like the beginnings of a potentially special relationship. Like if it works, do it more, like, especially for Collision.
Do you like an annual season ticket for like $100?
That's a great shout.
It's those, like when the Manhattan Center got too expensive. It's like, we're back here again in White Plains, New York. Here we are in Poughkeepsie. Building's got like 100 people in, but they're absolutely wired.
And you've dragged your wife to many a wrestling show. You went on your honeymoon.
Yeah.
Any advice for convincing their wives to join them for every show?
Not really, because you're going to AEW. It's just got to, like, if you're not a fan, they've got to love you, or they've got to find something they love about the product itself.
Yeah, basically, your wives don't love you if they don't go.
It's like you love them if you don't force them to go. Ultimately, it's what was she into at the time? My wife really liked
Adam Cole.
John Cena and The Rock broke through, and that was around that time. So she'd kind of like become aware of John Cena and quite liked. He seemed like the kind of person in that rivalry. And I was like, no, The Rock's cool and John Cena's an idiot. And she was like, he just seems like an all right guy. So seeing him in person was pretty awesome. So yeah, ask them if they've seen anybody.
So basically, your wife's missing between you and John Cena a psychopath radar. Psychopath radar.
Who in AEW, if you were in this position, you're a better, I think, case study for this, because your wife went to WrestleMania as part
So
of
did yours?
Oh, yeah, she did, yeah. Forgot about that. Well, no, that was...
Too busy ignoring your wife and watching the hot fed action for 7 hours.
The longest WrestleMania- the longest
so locked
WrestleMania
into
ever.
all events WrestleMania 35 that you forgot your wife was there.
What
with
I was
you.
thinking there was, sorry, yours, a WrestleMania was like a post-wedding thing, wasn't it? Like pre-settling down kind of whole thing. We were just still in a New York holiday.
This is your last goodbye.
Like, who at the moment on the
you know it.
AEW roster is the wrestler or the story or the something that's like, turn up for this?
My wife thinks it's all stupid. I showed the family, you can't not enjoy Dudes with Attitudes versus Young Bucks and El Phantasmo.
Yep.
It's the ultimate professional wrestling experience, right? Maybe you need a little bit of love for Sting, get it? And like that disbelief that he can still do it, maybe. It's just like when she watches people sell and like, she just laughs out loud. Just thinks it's the dumbest, stupidest, fakest thing you've ever seen in your life.
You know my wife's current favourite wrestler? Stax.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday night. Enjoys the
Great.
comedic stylings, our little bit of guesswork, the back and forth. You never hear for it.
Well, I'm here 50% of the time.
Yeah, no, well, she obviously, it's the YouTube version.
Okay.
So, aye. So,
Holding back the years.
just
I like that one. I'll listen back to it.
a monster pop.
Final couple of questions, then we'll get on to this week's hashtag bloody good quiz. Mr. Twilly says, cheers, guys. All of Sidge's suggestions for Trick to go to the LA dojo inspired me to go. It's been a great experience so far.
Whoa! How's that? More on that, please.
More on that?
Met Shibata.
Drop us an email.
Shibata kicked your ass.
Drop us an email, Mr. Twilly. Adam.wilbourn@whatculture.com, and we'll circle back to this next week.
Wow.
Tactical Penguin just writes, bloody hell, they decided to do one this week. Yeah, scheduling last week was a bit of a nightmare.
Sorry.
And birthday boy Mark Lee Willis, 37 today.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Happy birthday.
Says,
It's Peep Show, that one forever, isn't it? She's walking down the stairs and going, whoa.
Mark said earlier on, and I've no idea what it was in reference to, that it sounded like we were doing a Girls Aloud song, and that would pop you, but also says, here's a toughie for you, club or national team? Mark says the club because it's a constant for me.
Yeah, like...
So the question is,
Club.
would you want your club to win the Champions League or the country to win the World Cup?
I think anyone... Well, I think unless you're probably there in person, you would pick club, because if you really love your national team that much, that would be the thing that you would strive to be at or strive to what. I'd
say national team.
Would you?
You love England, don't you?
I love England. I love Chesterfield, but I have seen
Brings
them
people together.
Seen them win trophies. I've seen them win league trophies. I've seen them win big
Champions League, mate.
big cups. It's no Johnson's Paint Trophy. Messi's never won that. So, what was it called now? Papa John's? Or
Yeah, Papa
it's a
John's.
different name. I've been to Wembley. I've seen us win a trophy of that. Basically, it just feels like such a...
I've been through a cycle where I've kind of hated...
Just one.
Like-
I don't care what it is. I'd take Nations League at this point.
No, you wouldn't.
The cycle where
that's
England
not
were really horrible to watch and a dislikable bunch.
Terry and the lot.
Like almost a lost decade with England, I think chased me away from it forever. I've loved the Southgate run, and even that looks like it's going to kind of come to a bit of a sour end. It's the reality of the national team, whereas like the club, you can always think, all right, another season we'll go again. That sort of like, I don't know. I think that's just it's yours as well, isn't it? Like, England's everybody, whereas like the club's always going to be yours.
Yeah.
I also would like to go through to all the people who've badmouthed Southgate and be like, gone quiet, haven't you? Now we won the European Championships and the World Cup back to back. So
You ever been abroad to watch a game?
I don't think I've ever actually. I think I've been to like an England under-21 game at best, because I'm like, I'm remortgage my entire house to get to this game. It's like, I'd love to go to a tournament, but like, got responsibilities, especially now, and like going to the qualifier, they're often just like, and there it is, 2-0, because the team's just parked the bus and we've just...
It's like a season ticket as well, isn't it? You have to do it to get your points.
Is that the Thunderdome? The Wembley International Friendlies?
yeah,
it's like the Thunderdome watching them.
I went...
Not like the Gallagher end.
When when we had the Olympics, and
Where's the lie?
my brother lived in London and just put in for like a bunch of random events just to go to some stuff. So I was able to go to Wembley to watch the UK. It was so strange.
Something had like Giggs and Bellamy and stuff
like
playing for
this
us.
really odd atmosphere of about maybe 30,000 people in an 80,000 stadium. It's like, it's go team UK, and you wanted in your head to pretend it was like watching England. It wasn't. Olympic football's just not of a standard. Like everyone's doing it. It's jumped up soccer age.
We should just do that.
Just going to the Olympics. But I preferred went to the like badminton at Earl's Court, and you could like drink in the seats. It was fantastic.
You should just get Serge from Kasabian or someone playing for the national side.
In the Olympics.
Yeah, might as well.
Why not?
Might as well. We're not going to win
Got
it.
Brop on them.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the next World Cup back in America. Like all the USA 94 vibes.
Yeah.
Better stadiums and HD. And Canada as well. That's a tournament. That's a fucking tournament.
Alexander Mendoza says, new time. I swear you gents get started half an hour earlier. I fancy this new spot as I have a work meeting then. Love the work. Thank you, Alexander.
We'll change it all around for you then.
One final question. Just a quick reaction from both of you on Joe Hendry breaking the internet this week and what this potentially means for him. It was, big when we talked about it on Wednesday. Now, with that NXT rating, and we sort of alluded to this on the Q&A podcast, the sky's a bit the limit, really, for him, isn't it?
Like, as I said, and I'll try not to talk about it too much because I think I've said this take this week already. Like, the timing's perfect. He is potentially got his path into WWE at a time when WWE is very much in its, they call it the Paul Levesque era. It's the year era where big broad match quality's never really mattered less. Does to a degree, it always does, but you can be. It's where Eli Drake got over. You know what I mean? It's like, it's completely different now. I'm still getting my head around it. And Joe Hendry is the perfect fit for the hottest promotion of the century.
I just think
other than 2000, obviously.
I just think it's super cool that, like, we sort of talked about, like, on the preview that we did for NXT and in every conversation about the NXT 25-man Battle Royal, Joe Hendry was the name that everybody wanted from TNA. You could have your other favourites, but ultimately it was him. Everyone settled on, well, Joe Hendry's going to be in it. So you have a very, very reasonable argument to say that Joe Hendry drew that number. If Joe Hendry drew that number, he outdrew Cody Rhodes. And if you don't believe that Joe Hendry drew that number, he definitely drew all the attention to the YouTube follow-up because people wanted to see what he was all about. There's a lot of conversation around him, good and bad, because like that's what happens when you become a talking point. And there's been people that have, cynical people that have said, oh, well, you've never seen a Joe Hendry match, you're just into the thing. I think people are allowed to have not have seen a Joe Hendry match and somebody be brand new. I think, like, there's always gatekeepers and there's always folk that, like, will say, well, I'll be the authority on this wrestler and you might have this in-ring ceiling or you might not actually like it when the bell rings or whatever. It doesn't really matter to those people to who he's brand new. Those are experiencing something for the first time. And that's one of the best things about wrestling. Like, what's like Shinsuke Nakamura coming to NXT? How many people had never so much had seen him lock up, let alone like that WWE presentation of him in Dallas?
But he still believed that he could be a game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously was very familiar with his work, but a lot of people weren't. They were just excited.
Just excited. That's it. And Joe Hendry the same. Like the momentum and timing. Timing is often more important than anything in wrestling. Yeah. It's really cool to see that he's got it all potentially. And what feels now like a certainty that there's more to come. It'd be one thing if it was, again, that like weird heat around the booking. There were some people that felt it was this like one and done burial that yet again TNA were like going to get shafted by this deal that they've struck with WWE. No, you could tell this is the start of something rather than just a one-off. So it's exciting for him.
Really excited to see what happens next with that, and we'll talk more about it next week, previewing NXT presumably. But for now, enough of all this. It's now time for a bloody good quiz. And this week's quiz is brought to you by, let's give him a little present. Birthday boy Mark Lee Willis, thank you to you for all your constant support and lovely gifts and everything over the years.
Thank you.
Happy birthday again from all of us here at WrestleCulture. Very excited for this quiz. I'm glad we got around to it because, sorry to say, I've not been feeling very well.
You're all right.
Well, thanks for asking, Sidge. If you feel my forehead there, I've got European Championship fever.
Sure have.
So I've written a quiz all about the European Championship, not the tournament. The belt.
I wonder why I didn't say Euros.
Hamflett's going to kill me.
Well, I will say this starts with a bit of, Dadley's knowing stuff, basically. It might take a turn to the wacky a little bit later on, so stick around. So, 10 questions, multiple choice, shout your name, wait for me to come to you. And remember, guys, it's just for fun.
Just for fun, Sidge.
Okay. Question number 1. What year was the WWE European Championship created?
Sidgwick.
97.
Yay! Wasting my time not writing options for this.
Oh, you do? I'm not going to buzz in at all. I was like,
Well, just give us the option. No, because it's only, you can't make it's funny.
First ones you can, I've done very, very just statistical.
1990 poo instead of 2.
Yeah. Question number 2. Who did the British Bulldog not face in the inaugural tournament? Owen Hart, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Mankind, or Vader? Who did he not face in the inaugural tournament?
I can only recall the final. And it was quite incredible.
Hamflett. I'll go with Vader.
No, dear, that's wrong.
Bit of a punt, really. No.
Sid, you've got Owen Hart, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, or Mankind? Who did he not face in the inaugural tournament?
It's either Mankind or Hunter because Owen was in the final. Very. He didn't face Mankind.
No, dear, that's wrong.
First round, Mankind. Second round, Vader. And then, as you said, the final against Owen Hart. Mankind.
That makes sense because of WrestleMania 13 and who they were feuding with. God, that and who that the match with. That match is pretty rubbish, isn't it?
Stunk. Rubbish.
Just nothing
no
going on.
finish. Now what's going on?
Disjointed, do some. What a no flow structure ass match.
Do you know one of the things that killed that? It was right around that time Brett was forcing the hand on doing the Hart reunion. So the Bulldog babyface turn was basically dropped and it was supposed to be a huge part of it.
Yeah.
So it kind of killed it.
Vader beat Rocky Maivia, I think, in his first round match.
I think Triple H beat Brett in that tournament. I could be wrong. I'm sure I think Austin might have screwed him. They didn't show all of it, I don't think, because the cameras over there were terrible. The footage is, for 97, unacceptably poor.
Unacceptably poor.
British Bulldog Mankind, first round, quarterfinals. Vader, Rocky Maivia, Owen Hart versus Flash Funk, and Bret Hart versus Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Brett versus Owen in the semi.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about a Bret Hart, Owen Hart European title semi-final, are they? Ever.
No.
So,
question number 3. When was the last time the European title changed hands on a pay-per-view? Was it WrestleMania X7, Rebellion, Fully Loaded, or Judgment Day? The last time. This is the last time.
Sidgwick, Fully Loaded.
No, dear, that's wrong.
it's keen.
WrestleMania X7, Rebellion, or Judgment Day?
I know it changed hands at X7. Because it was Tess and Eddie Guerrero, and Tess got caught in the ropes in ages. Even longer than Damien Priest. Ages. Barry Saturn had a big hat. You saw it. I'll go with that one. WrestleMania 17.
Yay!
There's his stuff. Eddie versus Test is correct. 2-0. Question number 4. Midian became European champion after finding the belt where? In the trash? In Shane McMahon's travel bag? At a Hooters? Or at the top of the Eiffel Tower?
In the pin. Sidgwick in the pin.
No,
what?
dear, that's
Shame.
wrong.
That was WCW, the bin, wasn't it?
Yeah, WCW the bin. In WWE, it was like Shane just couldn't be asked to defend it anymore. He could have just put X-Pac back over, but he's like, no, I don't want it. So Midian was like, can I have it? And also, can I go out with your sister? Yes, and
No.
Okay. 3-0 to Hamflett. Question 5. This is where I'm going to test your sort of wider knowledge of wrestling now. Who had the sexiest run as champion? Who had the sexiest run as European champion? Shane McMahon, X-Pac, Test, or Val Venus?
Sidgwick, Val Venus, he probably, balked some lasses at the time.
You'd think that, but
No, dear, that's wrong.
What are the options again?
Shane, X-Pac, Test.
Where's this going? I don't know, so I'll say Test.
Whoa, unbelievably,
Yay!
he held the title for 69 days. That's the sexiest number of all, guys.
Nice.
It's a sex thing. So, 4-0 to Hamflett.
That's a good misdirect.
Yeah.
Question number 6. What was interesting about Owen Hart's first run as European champion? Is it the first title change that happened outside of Europe? Is it the first European champion who'd never been to Europe? Is it he pinned Goldust to win the title despite Triple H being champion?
Hamflett's that one.
What was D? D's the punchline of Bill's dick face.
Or D, he told a Europe-based joke before each title defense, e.g., knock knock Hamflett.
Who's there?
Europe.
Europe who?
No, Europe who actually got him. Yeah, he
God.
pinned Goldust.
Things to do after work.
Question 7.
Earlier the better, really.
Pinned Goldust. So DX basically paid paper, scissors, stone because neither of them wanted to foo Ed with Owen. They called him a nugget of shit. And then the feud came along and Triple H didn't even lose to him. Then he beat him at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then he beat him again. And then by this point, DX were babyfaces. Owen had to join the nation. It was like, it was your fault all along. And that was like his sort of We screwed Brett, but we'll square you.
Yeah. No, they didn't.
God damn it, man.
No, they didn't. Horrible company. Only able to brainwash the weak-minded.
So
Where's the lie?
6 questions gone, 5-0 to Hamflett. But good news,
Now who's weak-minded, huh?
double points on the last question I've decided because it's probably one of the best questions I've ever written. So, Sid, you're still in a chance to draw this. Question 7. RVD was the last European champion. But which of these isn't a movie that RVD starred in? Wrong Side of Town? Assault on Station 33? Time Toys? Or Four-Headed Shark Attack?
Hang on, only one of these is fake.
It's fake, yeah.
Jesus Christ. I know the Wrong Side of Town.
Yeah, I remember that.
Batista, wasn't it?
Yeah. And Angle and a bunch of guys, yeah.
So what's the second one again?
Assault on Station 33.
Right, okay, that's basically... I don't know if that's you thinking. What sounds a bit like Assault on Precinct 13?
That's a good shout, that's it.
So I'm going to go with B.
Yeah.
No, dear, that's
So it's
wrong.
someone else going. I'll give me John Carpenter.
What are they?
Ja Rule, Stormy Daniels.
Who's that?
The porn star with Trump. Dave Bautista, Rob Van Dam, Ja Rule. A few other people, I have no idea who they are.
What was the middle one? C.
C was Time Toys.
That's Wilbourn all over the place.
There's a bit in it. Yeah, we'll go with that.
No, dear, that's wrong.
You idiots. It's Four-Headed Shark Attack. Of course, the real name of that film, Three-Headed Shark Attack. So that's how I got you.
We were thinking of the sequel. That starring The Undertaker.
Oh, Andy's just got in touch. Thank you, Andy, who says, I love Sidge's stories article. What's this? Is this the best wrestling stories?
I did the best wrestling stories every year, 89 to 2024. You can either read it now, it's on onemoreculture.com/WWE, or you can wait for the video.
Ooh, I might do both.
Do you both?
You should
Andy
take.
says, IMO Cody's Chase.
Thank you for that. I appreciate
Cody's
it.
Chase is the best of 2024. A vulnerable babyface manipulated by The Rock, motivated to reclaim his spot by the fans. The subtext of toxic masculinity and great performances. Thank you, Andy. For that one.
Yeah, Brian Gewirtz could explain it away like that. They might
Brian
have
Gewirtz.
They might have a chance to get that documentary out if we could.
More like Brian the worst.
You've got him. You've got him. I want to watch that doc. Come on, Rock.
Oh, yeah.
Put your finger out, mate. They're still making up the story.
Yeah.
He's recording Talking Heads today.
He's busy on Death of WCW.
Oh, yeah, God. We need his takes
I
on
need
it.
to watch the episode
What
3.
the hell was
Russo's
going on
episode
over
3.
there?
Question 8. Why did Jeff Jarrett give the belt to Mark Henry? Is it... He forgot to get him a birthday present and it got awkward. Is it as a gift for assisting Double J in defeating D'Lo Brown at SummerSlam? Is it Mark threatened to smash one of his guitars if he didn't? Or is it...
It's B, by the way, so I want a point.
Yay!
Yeah, thank you.
The final option was Mark came out of the shower after having sex and Jeff was like, oh, cover up, Mark. But you're still sticking with... Just clarify, you're still sticking with B?
Yeah.
Yay!
And how that would work is he would put the belt on and then he would get dried and he would like give it back and just like, keep it, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I wrote this question with both of you in mind, okay? And I think this might be one of the hardest questions I've ever written. Okay? So take your time with this.
Okay.
William Regal has held the European title 4 times. Joint record holder with, I think, D'Lo Brown, if I'm not mistaken. Right. He's held the title 4 times. But which of these is not the name of one of his pets? Okay. Tommy, Charlie, Archie, Fred. One of them is not. Who's the imposter?
Charlie, because that's his son. Is it?
That's a good guess.
No, dear, that's
Another misdirect. A Wilbourn misdirect.
The most nailed on
2
one,
Charlies.
most nailed on one for me there is Fred. That's very regal. I know what you're thinking. It's not a very lizardy name, but that's just the kind of guy.
I'm funny. Yeah.
Fred Gecko. What are the other ones?
Likes Coronation Street as well. Why am I giving you the answer here?
Yeah.
Tommy, Charlie, Archie, or Fred?
They're all very Coronation Street, those.
find the
Our Tommy.
the thing that I found where it was like it's
Tommy might be named after Dynamite. So it's not Charlie. I don't think it's Tommy.
There's a Bobby there as well. I'm just saying.
Oh, well, maybe he does. Maybe Fred's if he likes Archie, but he likes Charlie. No, I'm going to go with Archie.
New Fred, he likes his curry.
Yeah.
But I love curry.
He also said, I prefer lizards rather than humans because lizards aren't arrogant so-and-sos.
Fucking hell, Rico. You boring bitch.
You boring bitch.
How do you know they're not arrogant? They might be, but they're lizards, so they can't communicate. You dork.
Right. Big journalism coming out now.
He's Paul Levesque's mate. He doesn't like arrogance in people, but he's Paul Levesque's mate. Maybe he just does it for career ruthless purposes.
I was going to say he doesn't like reptiles, and he is one.
How can I hate reptiles? I am one. I don't like humans, but how can I hate reptiles? I am one. I was one, for Christ's sake.
The thing about this business is you cannot speak up. I don't like brass necks, I like brass knucks.
Right. Real taxer for the last question. This is raw riddle levels of
Oh, okay.
tough.
All right.
Question number 10. The European Championship is about Europe. So which of these isn't a funny place name in Europe?
Jesus Christ. Would you do this for Nicholas and Phil? Would you show them more respect or what?
100%.
Have you met him? You encourage him daily.
Yeah.
This is your fault.
It
always is.
Don't worry, by the way, remind me afterwards. I've got more funny names that couldn't fit in the quiz, but I want to run some by you.
Okay.
After the press record, maybe for Monday morning.
So which of these
Give us something to look forward to.
which of these is not a funny place name in Europe, okay? Bastardo. Horny police. Little fart. Or poo.
It's D.
No, dear, that's wrong.
It's in Spain, and the beautiful beaches are called Playa de Poo. So, your options are Bastardo,
Yep.
Horny Police, or Little Fart.
I'm going to go with Bastardo.
No, dear, that's
Best question I've
wrong.
ever written. That's in Italy. I'll tell you that Horny Police is a place in Czechia. Is that how we're pronouncing it now?
Czechia.
Czechia. The town was offered 1 million hours of free porn to capitalise on its suggestive name. Little Fart is actually called Middelfart in Denmark.
Right, yeah.
Let's run you through some more funny place names.
Yes, please.
Okay.
These used to, before Googling that, you'd get them in books in HMB, wouldn't you?
Assholmen in Sweden.
What was that?
Assholmen. There's a couple of swears I want to risk getting. Ball in Spittle in Ireland. There's Horny Police.
Ever drive up to Scotland and there's that place called Shile? I believe it's pronounced Shile.
Yes.
Every
time.
There's always something different. Everyone.
Bouzil in France.
Brazil.
Bouzil, which translates to screw up. Rotten egg in Austria.
That's not funny. It's just childish. It's puerile.
What else we got?
It's a weird thing to say that, isn't it?
Bad Kissingen in Germany. Dull in Scotland. Christmas pie in England.
There's a place called Christmas Pie.
There's a place called Ugly as well in England. But
Where's Christmas Pie?
I don't know. They've just got a
It's a weird one on the way to Durham. I forget what that's called.
Christmas pie.
How weird are we talking? I'm trying to
Nah,
summon
it's
some
all
Durham
right.
towns.
Can't remember.
There's one called Eschwinning. That's in Durham.
All right.
A lot of losers live there.
What time is it?
Christmas pie. Sorry.
That's not that late.
Oh, sorry. quite like to go to Christmas pie, but
You don't like Christmas? That's another reason why
I like pie.
I know that.
Well, that's Christmas magic.
So do I. I'm actually eating a corned beef pie tonight. For tea.
Cool.
Homemade as well.
Oh, nice.
But my
It's a
favourite.
wedge of it.
Ah,
Yeah.
Where's my favourite? That's Holman. There it is. To conclude, in France, long cock on. So, you know, that's.
You what?
It's funny. It's good stuff.
Congratulations to Michael Hamflett, the winner of this week's quiz. Let us know how you got on in the comment section or on X at WhatCultureWWE. Watch, they can follow all three of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Thank you to everyone, by the way, who's joined us today. Once again, congratulations to Mark Lee Willis. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for all your donations, comments.
Yeah, it's
You
amazing.
Just stuck around and watched or listened or whatever. Thank you very much for that. Go and check out after this. Me and Sid sitting down answering all your wrestling questions. Should be available on the What Culture Wrestling podcast channel right now. And as well as that, myself and Hamflett have previewed SmackDown ahead of a huge show in Chicago tonight. But of course, we'll be back.
That's, I think, Boston.
Yes, mate.
Same difference.
Yeah. We'll be back next week to review all the wrestling. But for now, it's been WrestleCulture. My thanks to Hamflett and Sidgwick. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon. WrestleCulture is recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Re-recorded. I'm not doing it again.
I'm going to do the awkward bit now. Where we have to walk around and turn it off.
We have to say
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Let's re-recorded.
WrestleCulture is recorded in front of a live studio audience. Right, I'll just cut that in clean afterwards. Thanks everyone for watching.
We're
Bye. Say bye,
just sitting
everyone.
like with chopped liver.
What am I, chopped liver?
I mean,